And when you're around people like that boost you up and make you feel good, that's when your beauty starts to come out. That's what it's really about, is when you feel good on the inside, you shine on the outside. Like you radiate. You just, it's amazing to see people light up.
One of my favorite things about having started this podcast is understanding and realizing the web of connections that I will be and have made through previous guests. And with that, I want to say that's part of how this happened, how we got you here today, because with you knowing Mitch and us following mutual people, that led to us following each other on Instagram. And I was just like, wait a minute. I started checking out your hair page and I was like, she is doing absolutely fantastic work. And you've already lined up one of our future speakers, Mr. Bobby Boucher.
Yeah, I love
So
him.
I'm so excited to be able to talk to you about something that you are passionate at, and that you are great at, and you are providing such a level of enhanced self-esteem and confidence to everyone that you are providing your service to. So without further ado, who is Dominique Pezzino?
I am 28 years old. I'm actually not from Cleveland. I moved here when I just turned 21 for college, and that obviously didn't work out, which I'm so glad it didn't because I love what I do. I did the school thing for a little bit and it didn't really work out for me, but when I started working for Ford Hospitality Group, that's kind of where I like found my confidence. And I've always known I've liked getting ready and doing my hair. And when I would hang out with my friends, can you do my hair? Can you help me with my makeup? And when I moved to Cleveland, I realized like you can do something with this. And when you have the confidence to get yourself ready, you can have the confidence to make other people feel good because they see you and they feel inspired and you want them to feel good. So when I kind of figured out, doing hair can do that for people because it's a huge thing for some people. They invest in it. So that's kind of where I got my start. Was through Forward, I would
Yeah.
say. Yeah.
And I love the word that you had just used, and that was invest.
Yes.
You have to invest in yourself to better yourself. And a lot of people want to see some bit of either a success story or proof in regards to where it is that they can be to base their decisions off of. And you really honed in on exactly that. You were able to do that for yourself and inspire people and bring people to you so that you can ultimately help them.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things was the lived in color that I saw on your Instagram. Tell me more about what exactly that is.
So lived in color is a technique that I learned through my boss, Camile. That's his specialty, and it's really important when you do hair to find your niche and what you're good at. I do like hair cutting, but with lived in color, it's a technique. When you go to school, you learn how to do like a basic full foil or like a partial foil. But there's no like blend, there's no, seamlessness or, to it. It's kind of like a block and a line and a bunch of stripes, and it never looks good. So I did kind of some research online when I was at my old salon. I'm like, I really want to learn how to do that seamless blend I would see. So I went on Instagram and I looked for hairstylists that were successful. And I said, I want to be like them. Like, I want to be the best at what I do. So I found Camile and I reached out to a couple people, but he responded and it took him forever to get back to me. But I was so persistent and he finally got me in for an interview. And I'm like, I love what you do. I want to be you. Like, I want to be just like you. And he was like, you do? And I'm like, yes. And he really loved my drive and we clicked instantly. I'm not going to lie, I offered to clean the floors at the salon for free if I could just watch him work. Like, that's how driven I was. I wanted to be just like him. So with Lived in Color, it's this beautiful blend of technique and placement of your foils, and you don't have to be blonde to have lived in color. You can be any color. It's just a beautiful blend of dimension, of pops of color that you see when we do it for people, and they absolutely love it. And the beautiful thing about it is when you have lived in color, you don't have to come see us every 6 weeks. You don't have to come see us every 3 months. You can go a year without getting your color touched up and it will still look good. Will it be grown out? Yes, but that's the beauty of it being lived in, is it grows out and it looks like it's yours. It's not like, she needs her hair touched up. It's like, wow, your hair looks good. I haven't seen you in 6 months. That's why I wanted to do it. It was great.
That's amazing, and I'm glad that you explained it in the way that you did, because it made sense to me, and that was someone that didn't even know what the lived-in color is.
Yeah.
But that is phenomenal. Do people know about this? Because I knew of balayage before us even talking.
Yeah.
But, I guess shame on me for not knowing what the lived-in color is. But it's like, do people know to ask for that, or do they know it's an option, or do you find yourself educating people about it?
Normally, I find myself educating people because it is, I don't want to say it's newer, but it's definitely a technique that you don't learn in school. It's something that you have to pay money or do an apprenticeship with somebody that knows how to do it. And everybody does hair differently. So you take the techniques that you learn and you apply it to yourself and how you want to see things. Because the beauty of lived in color is you learn techniques for your blondes, your brunettes. Those are your two mains usually. And you learn from someone and you take classes. But then when you start doing it, you start applying it to how you want to see it. Because you have to see how the hair falls and how her haircut and her head shape is different from my haircut and head shape. So I'm going to have to do my hair completely different than how I would have to do somebody else's hair. But once you can see the way the hair is falling on the head and the way it's going to move on the head, it's lived in, it's going to move, it's going to have dimension, it's going to look like it's yours. That's when it kind of clicks for you. You're like, okay, well, I don't have to spend 6 hours just putting in a bunch of foils and hoping for the best and slapping a shadow root on there. It's like you have to it's custom. So that's the best way I would describe it.
Yes, I appreciate you taking me through that. Now, I'm hoping that you can take me through some bit of where your process for someone that's looking to have this be done for them starts.
Okay.
And maybe it's never finished, but just kind of like where you set them free.
Okay. So kind of like when they kind of reach out to me and want their hair done. Mm-hmm. Okay. So normally when people reach out, it's typically a blonde or brunette. And we'll just say for starters, we'll go with a blank slate. You have all dark hair. And usually people say they want a balayage or they want highlights. So I basically ask them like a slew of questions, and I ask the same questions. I ask, what is your hair history the last 3 to 5 years? Because a lot of people don't know that hair color doesn't just wash out. They kind of think if they slap hair color on your hair that it just kind of will come out of your hair strands. It doesn't. It stays there, especially if it's permanent hair color. So I kind of have to know like what's on my canvas so I can work with it, because I'm going to be applying bleach to you and it's going to do damage regardless. So I don't want to over bleach you, and I kind of have to know like what I'm working with. I also have to know if you've had previous bleaching in the past. I need to know if you are on any medications that might affect, what the chemicals could do to your hair. We kind of always make sure we ask these questions so we know what we're working with. So we're not going to damage anybody's hair. The most important thing I tell my clients is I'm not going to damage your hair. So if you're a level 5 like me and I want to be platinum blonde in 2 sessions, I'm going to tell you I'm not the right fit for you. And a lot of hairstylists, they kind of have a struggle with saying no. But with my client base, I want them to respect that I know what's best. I went to school, I went through training because I know what's best for your hair. But if you want to get your hair fried, I am not your girl. But like, good luck on your journey. Like, I want the best for you. So I explain that to them, and usually they're on board. Usually I get them on board with that. So definitely need all of your hair history, and I need to know your like beauty goals. We do talk about a beauty budget. Everyone's hair appointment costs different. it's not going to cost the same for everyone. I'm going to use different products. I'm going to use protection, all of this stuff. And it comes to a total at the end. It's not going to be the same for everybody. But I would say your first appointment is going to be your most pricey, depending on what you want to. But if you come with me, you've never dyed your hair and you have virgin hair, I want to be friends. We're best friends because you have a blank canvas that I can work on. I don't have to work through permanent hair dyes and old balayage that I have to like weave through and figure out like this doesn't fit here. What fits here. So it's a lot of work. It really is.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think people understand how much work it actually is. So they have to kind of go through a questionnaire, and I kind of get to choose if I feel like we're going to be a good fit or not. So that I get to choose my clients, I guess.
Yeah. And it's huge. And it's something that I've recognized to be one of the key characteristics in all of the hairdressers and salon owners who I know. And that is you have the ability to set proper expectations.
Yes.
Setting proper expectations may not be exactly what that client wants to hear, but it's what they need to know.
I think it's really important for people to understand something about hairstylists and hairdressers in general, especially if you're a color specialist. There's a reason we get to go to a store and buy professional products that we're going to use on you. So if you want this picture you're showing me, and I know it's going to take me at least 5 hours, you can't expect me to do it for like $200.
Right.
And it's just the reality. And there's nothing wrong with going and getting a service for that costs $200. But in my world, we work with your beauty budget. If you want to go platinum, but your budget is $200, well, let's start with some face framing. Let's start with some pops of color. Like, let's work your way through it. You don't need to come and drop $1,000 on your first appointment. We're willing to work with you, but understand it is a lot of work. So once we can kind of cross that bridge together, we'll have like a really happy relationship. But sometimes I run into people who are like, that's ridiculous. And I'm like, well, I've only been doing hair for 3 or 4 years, and I'm just now coming out of an apprenticeship. I've invested so much time and money into what I do. I can proudly say I know what I'm doing. So, and I don't mean I'm the best by any means, but I'm constantly competing with myself. So I'm constantly investing in my work, and I want my clients to understand that and respect it. And then when you get those clients that fit with you, you have this loyal, it almost feels like a fan base. Like you have a loyal base of people that come and see you, and they build into your business. So I'm glad that I do have those people that understand that it is a lot of work. It's not like I get to work and I'm like, la la la, I'm playing with your hair and here's my blow dryer. I do have those days where it's super fun and you're just getting a blowout or a haircut, but it still takes time and education.
Absolutely.
I've seen so many botched haircuts and I'm like, what the heck what happened?
Yes.
And you got to go in and fix it. And you're like, well, there's a reason you might have paid $25 for that, because maybe the person didn't know that, you have to take classes. You need to invest in your career and yourself, or you're never going to advance. Yeah. So that's the thing I want people to understand about hairdressers is the reason people charge so much money is because they've invested in themselves and they can give you what you want. Yeah. So it's important to know that.
And I'll say this because maybe you can't or maybe you won't, but that is those pictures that they are showing their hairdressers and their stylists of what they want. It's almost like I wish that they would be able to say, how much do you think they paid to have it be done in that way?
Yes.
Think about that.
It's that. And also people don't realize, I get a lot of like Kim Kardashian pictures and I'm like, that's a wig.
Yeah.
We can work with that, but that's a wig. And I learned how to do a consultation with my boss, and it is the most important thing in your service. I have people come in for consultations before their appointment. Yeah. Sometimes we do 2 consultations to make sure we're on the same page. Yeah. Because if you're showing me a picture of Kim Kardashian, I'm going to tell you it's most likely a wig, or it's keratin tip extensions, which cost, for the length I get, it's around $3,000. And people are like blown away. They're like, what? There's also an expectation people have. They'll show me a picture and it's usually a very filtered, gorgeous girl. But we live in 2023. every picture of any girl is most likely face-tuned and filtered, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are looking at the face.
Yeah.
And they're seeing this beautiful girl. So what we do is I go in and I cover the face. I'm like, what do you like about this? And they take a second and they're like, well, I like this. And I'm like, what else? I like how long it is, but your hair's short. So what do you like to see? You have to make sure that they're not looking at, like, I want to look like that. Oh, of course I want to look like that too. But a lot of people's expectations are really high.
Yeah.
And we have to be the one to break it to them. Like, let's work with what you have, because what you have is beautiful too. You don't have to look like the girl that has 7,000 million likes, like you are beautiful too. And let's work with what you have, and let's make you look beautiful. Like, let's make the hair you have work. And if you want to add some extra hair, let's get some extensions in there. But we got to keep it realistic. And I think a lot of people that do hair, I feel like they aren't honest with their clients, and it makes their experience frustrating because they're expecting something and you're promising something that you can't deliver. So always, what's the phrase my boss says? It's under promise and over deliver. That is the best way to just say like how you should be going about doing hair. So
I love that you bring up the extensions, because there's this one girl, she's beautiful head of hair. It was literally something that like I complimented her on. And there was nothing wrong with the fact that I found out that she had extensions, but I was like, oh, wow. Like, I would have thought that every single person, like, I'm sure that there are people walking along the streets that are thinking, oh my gosh, she has such full hair. Apparently it's just kind of natural body function. When you have kids, you kind of like your hair changes, your whole body changes.
Absolutely.
But it's like, I was like, oh, wow, you've had these kids and your hair is still so full. Well, then I found out she had the extensions.
Yeah.
And then it goes back to what we started the conversation with. And that was she invested within herself for those extensions.
Yes.
And she told me, she was like, yeah, these extensions were like $5,000.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my
Yeah, and
goodness.
you would have no idea.
No.
That's the beauty of it.
Yes.
And people don't see. Like, if you want to go and buy hair extensions from Amazon, do it. I encourage it. Like, have fun with your hair. It's your hair.
Yeah.
But you would, like you said, people that pay that $3,000, $2,000, $5,000 for that hair, it looks so natural. It looks so beautiful on them. It's an investment. So if you're willing to invest in your hair, there's someone out there that can deliver like your dreams. My boss does my hair. This is a bunch of extensions that he sits for 6 hours straight and glues into my head. But people that don't know me and they see me on the street, they're like, wow, your hair is gorgeous. I'm like, thank you. I'll tell my boss.
Yes.
Thank you. It's not it is mine, but I'll tell him, but thank you. So it's the best feeling ever when you're able to invest in your hair. So I think I like that little conversation we just had, because people don't really understand that side of it, I don't think.
And I'll be honest with you, one of the single most influential things that has been brought upon me from having started this podcast is a peek behind the curtain, being able to talk to someone about something that they're a professional with, that they're an expert with, that I know nothing about.
Right.
Because if it wasn't for being able to talk to everyone about what it is that they know so much about,
right,
I'd be completely left in the dark and expect nothing less.
Right.
And know no more.
Right.
I mean, gosh, it's funny, even since having started this, whenever I go on like dates, I'm like, oh, wow, like I just, maybe take a shower and put on some deodorant, maybe a spray of cologne. And then I don't think that the girl is going to go ahead and going through as much as she is, only to find out that it's like her investment into any of the dates that she's going on may very well start at a 7-hour shift in a chair getting done what you had talked about.
Exactly. And then they have to go home and touch up. And that's not even if they do their makeup with me. I always encourage my girls to do their makeup, but I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Even just going out.
Yes.
People come in for a blowout and I'm like, all right, what are you doing tonight? Let's get you looking right. But it's so much work. And it's funny because anytime I go home and see my family, they go, all right, well, we have to give Dom a 3-hour advance because she's got to get ready. I'm like, that's right. I do need 3 hours.
Yes.
We need 2 hours.
Yes.
I need to get ready. Look at all this hair I have. But if you don't want to invest in yourself, that's fine. Like, if it makes you happy, like, believe it or not, Most days at work, I don't wear makeup. I don't really, I'm like, oh, I feel beautiful in my own skin, but I want people to feel that way because your confidence comes from within. Yeah. And if you have somebody doing your hair that makes you feel good, you want to come back and see them. It's not just about money. Yeah. It's not. It's a beautiful thing when you have people that sit down in your chair and they show you a picture and you turn them around in the chair and they're like, oh, you see their face light up and they're just so ecstatic. And you, from the change from when they walked in, like they're kind of hunched over, they don't really feel good about themselves and they're seeking change. Yeah. They're seeking, I want to feel beautiful. And you're like, girl, I got you. I want to make you feel beautiful. I want to make you feel amazing. And I want you to leave and know you are amazing and you should feel good about yourself. Mm-hmm. And your hairstylist should be that person that makes you feel like $1 million. Yeah. You don't want to go in and then leave and be like, I guess I like my hair, but I'm going to go home and fix it. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't do that. That's not what you want for your clients. That should be your main goal. You want people to feel good. My boss, actually, he has an amazing loyal fan, like I keep saying fan base, but he has an amazing client base. Mm-hmm. He used to work at a JCPenney when he was in his 20s. And when I'm washing people's hair and they're like, yeah, I used to see Camile when he was at Penny's. I'm like, you've been seeing Camile for 20 years? What? Like, are you kidding me? Yeah. And they're like, yeah, I don't want to, I love the way he does things, but like, that's what I want. Mm-hmm. I want that for my clients. I want them to stay with me because I want what he's done. I want people to come and see me and they want them to feel amazing and they don't ever want to go to see anybody else. You know, it's a relationship thing.
Oh, absolutely. And I can tell that you are going to be successful in this strictly because, I mean, honestly, there were a few things that I picked out. One being the fact that I had already mentioned you are willing to set proper expectations. Yes. And I think that that's important through the consultations that you do. Because, I mean, odds are, you know, if you're walking into a salon and they show you a picture and they say, can you get this done? And they say, oh, yeah, have a seat. It's probably more scary than what should be thought of as convenient.
Yes, that's a huge thing. That's actually one of the reasons I left my first salon I was at. I hate the idea of everyone has a different head of hair. Mm-hmm. So how are you going to give me a 2-hour time limit to do a color on somebody? Yeah. Well, yeah. Sometimes it takes me 2 hours to do the application. And, you know, I'm making, the whole time I'm there, making sure your hair's not being fried off. We're getting to the color we need to get, you know, constantly paying attention to what we're doing, formulating. The technique alone, applying it takes a long time. So I don't like that. I never liked it. And I knew it wasn't for me. There's nothing wrong with it. But when you get into the world of like lived in color and custom color, I never have a time limit for people. I'm like, we could do that in the future. We can get you there or we could get you there, but let's talk about how long it's going to take. And people are always surprised. They're like, really? I can't. Can I come back in 4 weeks or 6 weeks? I'm like, no, your hair needs to breathe, girl. Like, don't use your heat tools. Relax on, use heat protection. I have all these things set up for them to do like after post appointment care and to keep up with it because the main goal is healthy hair. Yeah. It's never that picture you want. Like, yeah, we'll get you there, but I want you to have your hair on your head. Yeah. I don't want you to leave and like you've got chemical bangs. I'm never doing that. I'm never letting my name go out there like that. You shouldn't. Yeah. So that should be another main priority if you're a hairstylist. Like, don't damage your client's hair. Yeah. They'll be happy if you're honest with them versus that promise of like, sure, have a seat. And it's like, you can do that? Because I've experienced it myself. I believe it or not, I used to have blonde hair. And I would show pictures. And I'm like, I want this. And they're like, okay. I'm like, really? I can get that? And they're like, yeah. Well, your first one, you might be a little darker, but we'll get you there. And then you're just never happy. You're never happy because there's no conversation to be had. And then
you don't go back.
Well, yeah, you either don't go back or you keep going back because you feel like they're promising you something. Well, let me fix it. Yeah. And it's like, well, let's talk. That's another reason I got into hair was because I would get my hair done and I feel like we wouldn't talk. You got to talk with your clients. That's why they're going to come back because you're going to talk to them and you're going to give them expectations like, hey, love you, but this isn't going to happen this time. But I can make you look and feel amazing. Just not this picture this time, but we can try. And sometimes we get really lucky and your hair lifts really light, and then you can turn them around and you actually did get them that picture. That's the best feeling in the world. But that's not always the case.
Right.
So the expectations are, we got to set them. You got to set them before I'll touch your hair.
Because you are literally dealing with chemistry.
Oh, yeah. It's dangerous.
I don't even think people know how much goes into the products and the care that you provide and give instruction to do.
Yeah. I think that it all relates back to kind of our pricing as well. You're not just coming in and you're not just sitting down and I'm throwing your foils in, throwing on a toner, and that's it. It's like, okay, well, before you come see me, I'm going to give you a clarifying shampoo, and you're going to wash your hair with this. And then the week of your appointment, I want you to wash your hair with it every single day, no conditioner, and you're going to come with me with this clean, beautiful hair, okay? And then I'm going to do your hair, and before I even put bleach on it, we're using K18. It's like one of our favorite protections that we use. We also use L'Oreal Heavy Metal Detox. People don't understand that your water at home has metals in it, and it gets stuck in your hair. So when you're applying bleach, it can get hot. The foils will get hot. It gets swollen. It's damaging to the hair. So we have to pay attention to that. Some people don't realize the volume of the ammonia and the peroxide. There's 10 volume, there's 20 volume, there's 30 volume, there's 40 volume. It gets dangerous. We don't use anything more than 20 volume. If your hair won't work with 20 volume, you're going to get what you get, and we'll work overtime because I'm not going to fry your hair off. Yeah. So we're going to do your hair, we're going to bleach it, and then you're going to get 2 conditioning treatments with us. You're going to get one at the bowl after I bleach you. We're going to put K18 in your hair. Mind you just got protection and a detox before you got your hair done. And then afterwards, we usually use Redken, acidic bonding. And what that does is when you put bleach on the hair, it brings the hair up to alkaline. Your hair has a pH of 4.5 to 5.5. So when that bleach hits your hair, it's going to go up to alkaline. You want that acidic shampoo and conditioner and treatment to bring the pH back down to normal, because a lot of people notice that don't do these treatments and do this research, their hair looks like ramen noodles. It's swollen. Yeah. And then it starts falling apart. And you're like, what the heck is this? Now, not with us, but it doesn't matter. It's still very fragile. We want that. We got to put that treatment in. We got to make sure like the pH goes back down. And then I'm sending you home with it. I'm like, use this K18, use this shampoo and conditioner every time you wash your hair. And don't wash your hair all the time. Your hair likes the oils on your scalp. You don't need to strip it. So it's not just a hair appointment. It's like we build a program for you, and it's customized just for you. And I think it's important for people to see how important that is. You shouldn't just go get your hair done and be left in the dark like, well, I don't really know what shampoo to use. Like, talk with your clients. Tell them what to use, give them your recommendations. It shouldn't just be like, use what you want. Well, I can give you some shampoo. It's like, why are you giving them that shampoo? Why are you giving them that treatment? And even when they're in the chair, I just tell them, I'm like, they're in the shampoo bowl. Okay, I'm doing this treatment, and everything I just told you about your hair pH, I'm telling them. And they're so interested because they had no idea. Yeah. So when you have somebody telling you this, you're like, this is actually amazing. This is really cool. She knows what she's doing. She's educated. And I think it makes people feel good when they're in your chair, when they know that you're educated on what you're doing.
And I'm glad that you brought that up, because it's exactly where I wanted to segue between your grit and your knowledge and your determination. I mean, those three all come together to really be another reason why I know that you're going to be successful in this. I mean, let's start with just acknowledging everything that you said. I followed along, but if I were to have to recite it or be tested on it, I wouldn't know the answer. Yeah. But that's the thing. Mm-hmm. You are the professional. Mm-hmm. You are the expert. You know the answers to all of those things, which is why you are the one that is standing there, helping me with this. And then that person is in the chair receiving the services. Mm-hmm. And then you talked about how you reached out to Camile to get started.
I did.
And you said several times. And then even when you got in, there were certain things that you said that you were willing to do to learn. And that's something that a lot of people are not willing to do, and also in some cases feel as though they're entitled to not have to do it.
Yeah, it's kind of disappointing because school is hard. Hair school is hard. Where I went to hair school, I went to Aveda in Strongsville, and that school taught me timeliness. You have to clock in at 9 or you can't go to school that day. And it's an hour-based school. So you can't just go in at 10 and leave at 2 when you feel like it. They won't even let you come in for the day. You lose your hours. And your GPA is also based off of your attendance. Mm-hmm. So if you're constantly late and you're constantly missing, you'll fail out. So obviously I was like, I don't want to do that. I was in the parking lot at like 8:30 every day.
Yeah.
As soon as they opened those doors, I was running inside. Of course, I have my days where I'm late or didn't want to go that day, but I had that freedom because I would show up, So you take that, learning that, and then you take it into your career. With Camile, oh my gosh. If you know him, he is like the hardest person to get a hold of because now I'm his main assistant and I have his phone and I'm texting people back and doing a schedule for him because he's so busy. And now I understand. I used to be so anxious. I would send him a message and like he wouldn't respond and I'd be like, oh, does he not like me? Mm-hmm. And it's like, no, just keep trying. Why not? Shoot your shot. Yeah. I kept messaging him and when he finally reached out and gave me his like phone number, I was like, oh, this is going to happen. And I told myself that. I'm like, you're going to get this. You always get what you put your mind to, so you're going to get it, Dominique. Just do what you can. Yeah. I texted him multiple times if we could just talk about even just watching him work. I had no intentions on leaving my salon. I just wanted to be better for my clients. So he said yes, and he let me come to the salon for an interview. So I got my resume ready, and I get there, and I'm, like, amazed. He's got 4 chairs and just, like, run in circles with 2 assistants. I mean, one after the other. The blow dries, the foiling, the glossing. And I'm like, I want to do that. I want to be just like him. So he comes over and he sits with me. He looks at my resume, and he's like, how bad do you want it? And I'm like, this isn't a normal interview. I got to tell him, like, I really want it. And I told him, I said, you know what? I'm passionate about this, and it's not just a job to me. Like, I truly love what I do, and I want to make people feel beautiful. So if you don't need an assistant right now, or you don't need anyone to work with you, I will come and clean for you and sweep the hair off the floors if I can just watch you a couple hours a week. And like that like really sealed it for him. He was like, wow, what? No. And I was like, yeah, like, please, anything to just soak up information that you may have to offer me. And he was like, girl, like, why don't you start? You can come in once a week and, you can shadow me. And honestly, the day I started, they were so busy and I was shadowing, walking and watching. My coworker, Lena, she looked at me and goes, do you want to work? I said, yeah. She goes, then let's get you to work. And she just had me start going, assisting with her. And we just finished the day. And at the end of the day, Camile comes over and he goes, I'm really impressed. I'm like, I want this. So it was kind of, after that, I got like my day with him. And then he decided to just hire me on. He didn't need a third assistant, but he was like, you know what? Like, you're really hungry, and I'm building a team right now, because at the time he hadn't built a salon yet. He was still kind of thinking about it. It hadn't been in motion yet. So he's like, I want you on my team. Like, you're passionate. You have that drive. We actually did a second phone interview. And I remember him telling me on the phone, I can feel the fire that you have inside of you because I have the same thing. And I thought that was very, very interesting, because I do feel that. Yeah. I feel like I have this fire inside of me about what I do for work, because I'm so willing to just get in there and invest in myself and invest in my clients, because it makes me happy seeing them happy. Mm-hmm. It's not just a job to me. And he feels the same way. So now we're like this. I'm like his right hand, he's dropping something, I'm already picking it up. But one day I'll be in his shoes and I'll have somebody just like me. But when you're in his shoes and you're building a team, you want to find people like me. So I don't blame him, but I wanted it. I was like, I'm going to be the best. I'm going to be your main assistant. Give me like 6 months. And I did it. I made it. And I was proud of myself. And he tells me every day, he's like, I'm so proud of you. I'm like, don't, because I'm not done yet. I have so much further to go. So I hope he's proud of me.
Yes.
I really do.
Oh, I can almost guarantee it without even knowing him.
Yeah.
And just from what I'm seeing right in front of me. Where are you guys located?
So we're in Fairlawn on Sand Run Parkway. You're going to see this beautiful thing he's created for us, a work environment for us, because we won't be just a salon. It'll be a place where people that are passionate and have passion for hair are going to work. We're going to have special clients, and it's going to be like this luxury experience that you're going to get. And when I say luxury, I mean you're going to leave feeling like $1 million. You're not just going to walk in and be like it's going to be like, your seating area is going to be amazing. Your experience with us is going to be amazing. Your processing time, you're going to sit at our coffee bar and have a coffee, and you can work while we do your hair. It's just going to be, incredible. I can't wait.
Yes.
I can't wait.
Well, and I think what that speaks to is the culture that you all have worked to curate to be something that's enjoyable. And that is going to be a huge driver and really an additional reason as to why I think that you and your team and everyone that you work with and everyone that you partner with will be successful, because you're providing an experience like none other.
That's something I also learned at Forward.
Yeah.
As some people don't think it's like you take anything or learn anything from a job like that, doing bottle service, but you do. Because the idea with Forward is you're getting an experience for a night. And as a server, you're allowing your table to have an experience with you. So I took that with me in my career. People come back for an experience. So if you're willing to give them that, whether it's at a nightclub or in my chair getting your hair done, you're going to want to come back. Yeah. And for me, it's enjoyable because I want them to have an experience. I want them to have fun. I want them to feel safe. I want them to feel beautiful sitting in that chair with me. It's the same thing as it was at the club. It was like, you want them to have fun. You want them to come back. So it's the same idea doing hair. But some people would be surprised to hear that you actually take real life things that you learn at a job like that and you apply it to your job, your career. And some people make that their career and they do amazing because it's all about an experience. You know, you don't want to go somewhere and it's like, yeah, I saw my hairdresser for 5 minutes and she didn't really talk to me while she did my hair. And then, I didn't really like how she curled my hair, but I didn't want to say anything because we didn't talk the whole time, because I've experienced that. And people remember that and they don't want to come back and see you after that. They don't feel important. You want people to feel important. And I think that's like my key thing I learned from them, is making people feel special and important. Because who doesn't want to feel special and important? Right. You're going to go back to them, right? So.
No, that's so true. And I mean, you learn so much within the service industry. Oh, yes. I mean, you understand and get a newfound respect for so many things once you are have worked within that industry.
Oh, yeah. You definitely learn that there's different people that need different catering styles. You learn to be adaptive to your environment. You learn how to work with different people, different individuals. The biggest thing, too, is the teamwork. Everyone's a team. Everyone's a functioning team. I've worked with people, not at Forward, but other places where it's not really a team thing. It's like a competition. And that makes everything so hard because somebody is next to you is competing with you. It's not a team effort. So it's really great that I've had I just feel blessed that I was able to work for a place like Forward and now for Camile, because we're a team. With him, it's not, you're going to be my assistant and just do what I say. And I'm going to keep my formulas and my techniques from you. He's always like, I want to give you your wings and I want you to fly. And we're going to help each other. Because I've had clients come in and I've run over on my time and he's there like helping me blow dry.
Yeah.
He's taking time to help me. And I have other coworkers that help me. And it's the same concept at Forward. Everyone's a team, everyone's helping each other. So it's more relatable than you think. And in the service industry, you should always be working as a team because in real life, you should always be working as a team. At least what I do.
Mm-hmm.
You want to work as a team. It's not fun to work when everything's like a mean competition for money. It's like, what's the fun in that? You know, we can't really like communicate and be friends if you're like hiding things from me and not willing to help me out, because I'm always willing to help people out. I love helping people. So that's something I really took from the service industry for sure.
I think one of the things that I've noticed when speaking to someone that's so passionate about what it is that they do is that there's a sparkle in their eye. And there's definitely one in which you have when you talk about what it is that you've done in the past and that what it is that you're doing now. But a lot of that comes from continued support, whether that be from within or whether that be from those that are providing it to you.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, you know your capabilities, but have you kind of, I don't know, fallen into these wonderful positions in which you've had these people support you just because you've been able to guide your way into these positions? Or like, who is ultimately there also supporting you through your journeys?
I have a tons of support. Yeah. My family's supportive. I have my father who gave me his work ethic. He's very supportive. I hope I make him proud. Well, it's honestly, my parents don't live near me, and I have a lot of nieces and nephews, so my family can get quite busy at home. And sometimes, they forget to call and text, which is completely normal and fine. But my girlfriends, oh my God, they're always over the moon for me. And I'm always over the moon for them. The people I've met when I moved here and made actual friendships with, they're very supportive. And I support them. And I think that's really important to have, especially when you don't have your family near you. You need good friends because you make your friends your family. And my friends are great. And even people that I'm not close with that I've met, like Bobby that's coming on the show, Mitch, Tambier, my friend, he's a host at Forward.
Yes.
They're always supportive. They're always checking in. They're always like, how's work? Like, how are you? You know, I've always supported them. I think meeting people that have that same feeling that you have, like you just want to be a good person. And I was very blessed to be surrounded by people that are good people, because you can kind of see a bad egg when it's there and you're like, oh man, that sucks. Like I don't want to be around someone like that. So I do have a tremendous support from my friends. I think that's what keeps me going. But now that I'm so busy, I would say Camile is like my number one supporter. Yeah. He's like, girl, you better get out there and you better fly and you better work hard. And I'm like, you're right, I'm going to do this. And I have bad days. I have bad days all the time. And so does he. And when we go to work, we leave them at the door. We leave our bad day at the door, because where we work is not about our bad day. It's let's make sure our clients have a good day. And usually by the time we're walking out of work, we're having a good day because they're around each other and it feels really good. So I really appreciate that I have him and I found him, because he's not just my boss, but he's my mentor. He's like a teacher. He's like a brotherly, fatherly figure to me. I look up to him in so many ways. Business partner, everything. I mean, he's like my whole package deal. And he's not a selfish person. He's completely selfless, and he's taught me that trait. And every day I feel lighter. I feel lighter and lighter because I take what he is and I apply it to myself, and he makes me a better person. So he's like my number one, I would say, Camile. So
I love that. I found that it is a common theme amongst all of the guests that I have, where they constantly acknowledge and in some cases credit the support that they've received to be the reason why they are where they are. Because you're so right. Like we all should be working as a team together. And, I guess, I do believe that there is something to be said about a healthy amount of competition, but we all want to be working together, especially when we're ultimately serving someone.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I would say that's really important. You don't want to be competing with other people because it always turns nasty and it kind of turns dark because I think unhealthy competition stems from jealousy. And I'm not a jealous person. If you are confident in yourself, there's no reason you need to feel jealous or insecure about somebody else succeeding. You should want that success for yourself and let it drive you instead of bring you down. I work with women who are driving like Porsche 911s, and I'm like, I'm not jealous. I'm like, I want to work really hard and get that. Or, just even other hairdressers in the hair industry, the men and women, they're at the top, and I'm like, I want to get there, but it's not. I'm gonna knock them down in the process, or I'm gonna keep all these secrets because the goal should be, you want the hairdressing community to be in sync. You want everyone to be doing good hair, and the people that aren't educated and haven't invested in themselves, let's support them. Let's educate them. Let's help them out.
Yeah.
Hey, you should come shadow me. Or, hey, who did your hair? Like, tell them, like, I can teach them where they made this mistake. But some people don't want to hear that. Some people take it as, we're rubbing it in their face. This color correction, oh, well, they're rubbing that in my face. Or this botched haircut, she's rubbing it in my face that she fixed it. It's like, well, actually, if you talk to me, I would tell you that I want to help you learn how to do it correctly and do it properly so you can make your clients happy. Like, we're not here to steal clients. We're here to make sure our clients look and feel good, not this dark, gross, mean competition where we're all pinned against each other. I hate that more than anything. I want to be surrounded by people that want to work together instead of being like, yeah, I'm not telling her that. I'm not sharing that with her. Like, okay, fine, keep it to yourself, and I don't want it.
Yeah.
If it comes from a dark place, I don't want it.
Yeah.
With
a lot of people not understanding or having the education within the hair industry, the styling industry that you have, do you feel as though there are any like really common misconceptions or things that people think are true but just are not, but the public just hasn't really acknowledged it?
Like, as from a stylist standpoint, to other stylists or to clients?
To clients.
I don't think that enough people understand that are clients, that education, it brings up your career. I think that I kind of think people think it's like a money thing. Well, she can do that because she has wealthy clients and they pay her. I hear this term a lot. She overcharges. And that's why she is able to like go fly to New York and learn how to do extensions. Well, little do you know, maybe I worked 2 jobs, didn't sleep on the weekends, so I could buy this ticket to go to New York and learn how to do extensions. Yeah. And I was able to build that clientele that want to spend the money. I've spent so much money just on watching videos that cost money just to do things. But it's back to that investment in yourself. But I think when people see it as, I think they just relate it all to money. They don't relate it to, they don't put value in it, I guess. Yeah. That's another thing I would say. If you don't value getting your hair done, why would you care what I've done to get to where I'm at? Because you're just going to look at it as, you charge too much money. Yeah. I can just go somewhere else. We'll go somewhere else. Yeah. Right. There's a reason why I'm doing this. It's because I know my worth. Yeah. And it's that simple. But I don't think people understand. Like, I wish they did. Yeah. But when they come in and I can explain it, it clicks for them. But I now that with Instagram and things are more accessible for people to see, I think maybe they're starting to understand more. But maybe it's the difference between salons and independent stylists. There's not to say there's not talent at salons. There's plenty of talent at salons. But I think people need to know their worth that work at salons. Like, girl, you should be charging more than $45 for a dang haircut if you went on BTC app and paid like all this money to watch all these videos, like you should want more for yourself. But that's in any career.
Yeah.
You should, if you know your worth, you can make something of yourself. But if you don't think you're worth anything, you're going to stay stagnant.
And from a like client perspective, maybe it'll take them doing a DIY bangs or a bad box color to finally bring them into your chair.
Yes, I get that all the time. I haven't had any bad bang experiences because I tell people, people are, you can't grow your once it's off, it's off. I cut your bangs, it's going to go off and you're just stuck with that. So I don't think most people want to chance the bad bang, but the box tie, oh my gosh. They're like, well, can't you just bleach it out for like $200? I'm like, no. But if you want to keep dyeing your hair black, please do, but I can't do it for you. I can't help you with that. It's a relationship. You build that relationship with them. But it's either people going and getting their hair destroyed by somebody else, not being happy with it, and destroying it themselves even more to come sit in my chair, or you can do proper research and find me or find people like me that are passionate about it, and it's not just like an in and out job thing.
What's the quickest way to ruin your hair?
There's so many ways. I want to say chemically.
Sure.
Frying it. Bad bleach job.
Okay.
Bad bleach job, because once you get to that point where your hair is so damaged from like heat and bleach, all you can do is wait for the new hair to grow. And use expensive treatments to get it to feel better. But once those hair strands are like chemically damaged and beyond repair, it's like grow out or cut it off. Grow it out or cut it off. And the people that don't want to get their hair trimmed, I'm very conservative with length if you have the length.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's get you healthy hair. Like, let's trim somebody's dead. And people are like, no, this is mine. I'm like, oh, but it's damaged. Usually my first haircuts that I get DMs on Instagram, they're like, I want to keep my length. I'm like, I can see through 6 inches of your hair, but like, I'll cut 3 off. How about that? Let's meet in the middle. Yeah. But I'd say a bad bleach job. It's horrible. And I see it all the time. I'm like, was it really worth getting her platinum for her to not have the length of hair she had before? I don't think so.
Yeah.
And then she's just got to have damaged hair and walk around with like thin, brittle hair that she can't even really tie back into a ponytail. Like, come on, the color's not worth it. It's really not. But if that's what you see value in and that's what you want, go for it. But we won't be a match for sure. But yeah, I would say bad bleach, man.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
So you mentioned that being a way to chemically ruin your hair. What are the other ways? Like, is there...
Heat? Heat's the biggest one. Stay away from a flat iron. I'm telling any girl out there, you can get straight hair with a hairdryer. Buy a nice hairdryer. Invest in a nice
Invest in it. Oh, imagine that.
Imagine that. I know. And use heat protection. You use more than one heat protection. I know people think like, my hair gets greasy. It doesn't need to go on your roots. You can apply your heat protection mid-shaft down. That's like a big thing I get with people is like, well, my hair gets really greasy. I don't like using product. But your hair's damaged. You need heat protection. It's not going to make your hair oily. If you would train your hair to not wash it every day, it wouldn't be so oily. But people don't want to hear it. You also can't convince people that are stuck in the same shoes, like, this is the way it's going to be for me. It's like, okay, well, let's work with that. Then wash your hair every day. But if you're going to use that damn flat iron, you better be using at least 2 or 3 heat protections because your hair can't handle it. And people just keep going over it every day, flat iron. And then you see these, like, heat damage, like, sideburns, and they're like really short.
Yeah.
And then they get these like, I mean, I even kind of have them. You can see them up here. That's from my hair dryer, but you got to be careful.
Yeah.
I can always spot it from a mile away. I'm like, she uses a flat iron. Don't use a flat iron, please. And it doesn't need to be 450 degrees. It doesn't need to be 400 degrees. Do like 310, 320, 350 if you're really pushing it, if you got a lot of hair, but there's no reason to like see smoke when you're curling your hair. Okay, you can get the result without the sizzle. You can get the result, especially if you just got your hair bleached. I don't want you using any heat tools. If you want to blow dry it, that's fine, but please, 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 no flat irons. Those are the worst. I haven't used a flat iron in 3 years.
Oh wow.
I used to straighten my hair all the time, and Camile humbled me. He was like, how about some K18? I was like, what do you mean? He was like, you definitely use a flat iron. And I was like, how do you know? He's like, girl, I know. You need like a solid couple months with no heat. And I was like, oh, great. And I was so insecure about my hair. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to have him get me extensions now. But yeah, you can always spot it when you get really into hair. So that's what I would say to stay away from is a flat iron and most heat tools. Stay away or just use them safely. And you don't need to use them every day. Rock your natural hair. It's beautiful. I love natural hair. Just do that instead of frying it off. There's no reason.
Yeah. I know. I think one of the things that was really big in more so middle school was the moussing?
The scrunch.
Yes.
The scrunching of the hair.
Yes. There were girls that came in like every single day wearing that.
I was one of them.
Are you?
In middle school, yeah.
Were you?
Oh, you scrunch your hair and you like... I think you even straightened your bangs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or and because there was this other one,
like front pieces.
Yeah. Well, because they did, it wasn't necessarily the Snooki bump, but they took like the front and then they like clipped it
back. The pin back.
Yes.
I did it all. Me and my friends did it all. If you look at pictures, which I'll have to get you some of me and my girlfriends from like 8th grade, like Winterfest, it's like a row of bumps. And you're like, what the heck was that back in the day? And like the crunchy, scrunchy hair, that was bad. But when I tell people to wear their hair natural, they're like, I hate my hair natural. And it's like, well, you're not using the right products. Mm-hmm. Your Tresemme scrunching mousse is going to make your hair look crunchy. Let's get you some professional products. Invest in it. Like, you want to invest in it. If you don't like your natural hair, I'll make you like it. Mm-hmm. You just need the right products and you need to learn how to style. Educate your clients, for God's sake. People are like, oh, well, here's a hairdryer, figure it out. It's like, teach them. I stand in front of the mirror and I take my bangs all the time because I cut curtain bangs a lot. Mm-hmm. And people always go, how do I do that? I can never do this at home. And I'm like, well, you're probably not going to be able to get there yet, but let me teach you. And I sit with them and I go over my bangs and I'm like, you're not going to be as fast as me at first, but let's at least get the foundation down. Like, sit with them and teach them how to do things. And while I'm applying my products, when I'm styling their hair, I tell them what I'm using and what it does for their hair. And they're like, oh, I didn't know that. And you'd be surprised how many people just don't know. So that's why talking to your clients is so important. And you're like, you didn't know that leave-in conditioner was good for your hair? Or you didn't know that you could buy mousse that wasn't going to make your hair look like it was 2012? My gosh, I got some news for you, girl. Let me get you right. So it's just funny how that works.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell throughout this whole conversation with the sparkle in your eye and the passion that you have speaking to it, you enjoy every bit of the effort that you put in. And like I said, it's going to take you so unbelievably far. So I like to ask this question as kind of like a bird's eye view to the whole conversation that we've had. And that is, what makes Dominique smile?
When I see confidence, because beauty comes from within. So working in the beauty industry, you want to make people feel beautiful, but you can't feel beautiful if you're not confident. So when I see people's confidence level boost even just a little bit, it makes me feel so good, because I think back to when I moved to Cleveland, how I was very insecure. I didn't like the way I looked. I didn't feel good in my body, and I just never did. And then I met a group of incredible girls who were like, what the heck are you talking about, girl? You're gorgeous. And when you're around people like that boost you up and make you feel good, that's when your beauty starts to come out. That's what it's really about, is when you feel good on the inside, you shine on the outside. Mm-hmm. Like, you radiate. You just... It's amazing to see people light up. So that's what makes me smile, is making people feel confident so they can feel beautiful, because everyone is beautiful. Like, let's get that out there. Like, you are beautiful and you need to be confident. Stop being insecure. And I love when my clients come sit in my chair, and if I can make them even just 10% better, because we'll get you to 100%, but I want to get you there. Like, I want you to feel good, because I've been there. I used to feel horrible about myself, and now every day I'm in competition with myself. I don't compare myself to other people, and that's what makes me the most happy.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And where can they follow you?
Okay, so my Instagram name is domhair_. I don't have like a full page yet, but we're building the business. And then my personal Instagram is domzino, and that's where people kind of see my hair page from. So follow me on my hair page. I'm accepting new clients and doing bookings, so DM me for a booking and let's chat. Let's get you to your hair dreams.
That's right. That's right. And it's so funny to have this experience with you, as if you were essentially cutting my hair and we were talking as we were doing this. You know, like, it's what you said was important. You know, talk to your clients, let them know what's like. You educated me. We had, we just. It was every bit of an experience that you gave me just sitting and having this conversation. So thank you for that. It means a lot to me.
Oh, good. I'm glad. If you, I don't do any guys' hair.
Yeah.
So I can't help you. But all of my, and you can be a guy and have a full head of hair and you want to get a lived-in color. Come on in.
There you go.
But yeah, I wish I could do something for your hair, but maybe I can offer you some products.
There we go. Or, one of my girlfriends in the future, I'll send her over to you, and then you just take care of her for me.
Thank you very much. I'll take good care of her.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. This was so amazing. And I'm really happy that you brought me on.
I'm happy you came.
Thank you.